Hello. While Allie's setting up, or while I'm waiting for Allie, I'm going to also um, move this. I can't get my phone to work correctly, so there we go. Allie's coming on. Hello. But I got to get this to set up to be on here. Okay, add. There's so much technology here to do the live. Hi.
Hi, beauty.
Yeah, I just couldn't get my phone to behave for me today. Sorry.
That's all right. I don't usually go this way, but we'll make it work. It's fine. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I've never had a problem before, but today it was a problem. So might as well do it and
Perfect.
I'm still kind of getting things set up straight here. There we go. There, can you see me okay?
Got you perfect.
I can see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you
Ah,
so much for being here.
you're welcome. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I've just been watching you from afar and noticing you and just noticing like how you glow, and I love your photos and I love just
Ah.
the expression of you. Like there's something about you that comes out and that shines. And I just wanted
Hmm.
to, other people to see that because it's just beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Kristen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I love that piece too about being a self-love queen. That's just a beautiful way to think about it.
Yes, that's it's one of the things I'm most passionate about is the
Yeah.
self-love aspect.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we have that rocking in our lives, then anything is possible.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I want to start though, we'll dive more into that. I really want to start with more about, your story, both from like the personal perspective and as well as just kind of your story with affiliate marketing, like what has that done for your life and how you came into it. Oh,
Amazing. Which part would you like me to answer first?
whatever feels good to you.
All right. So we'll start before. For me, I was in the coaching industry
Yep.
and was building my own business. And I was finding that it was tedious. It was just me and I was doing my own thing and I was having to figure stuff out and do courses and really everything was on my shoulders. I didn't know what I was doing. And there's so many people out there that want to help and so many people that have courses, and I felt like I never really knew where to go to get what it is that I wanted. And I didn't really even know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted to make have 10-figure months doing what I was doing. So I was able to create that 10-figure months, yet not consistently. So I would go up and down and up and down. And sometimes there would be not much coming in. And then sometimes there would be a lot more coming in. And then sometimes there would be part of that coming in. And I had been, I guess, my whole life looking for something where I could be all of me and not work my ass off and slave away and not sell my soul to somebody else and still make an impact and still make a difference in my life and the lives of others. So I had been a part of so many different business models. I'd worked in corporate, I've studied, I've done all different types of things. And when I got to the point of seeing the affiliate marketing platform that we're a part of, for me, so much came up. Like it took me 3 months before I got started.
Yep.
And that point, what became very clear for me was that even though I was wanting to make money, even though I wasn't, like at the time, my coaching wasn't singing to me anymore. I had a really big shift within my life and I wanted some different things. So I thought about going back to work. And if you're like me, that makes your skin crawl. So the coaching wasn't lighting me up the same anymore. Going back to work a job wasn't lighting me up. And then our platform kept circulating. And I kept seeing people that I knew and loved online that were sharing their stories. And I had all the usual fear come up, the doubt. Is this too good to be true? Are they really making the money they say they're making? Is it that easy? And then I had the personal stuff going on. How can I do this? I'm just me. These people are amazing. Like, oh, so many stories came up. And it took me 3 months to get over all of those stories. And something just kept knocking and saying to me, you need to do this. And when I came on, I came in with the intention to just give it everything that I had. And in that, I was able to create such a beautiful business in what some would say quite a short amount of time, which then allowed me to take almost all of this year off. So it's been nearly 2 years. Yeah, it's been nearly this. I have a lot of gratitude for this because, you know, there's been over this last 2 years for me, 3 years in business online, almost 2 years in our affiliate marketing platform. And I do coaching and I've got programs coming and there's so many different things that I do. I do offline stuff as well. The affiliate marketing is what has supported me though to be able to do other things. And it's really allowed me to deep dive into the truth of who I am, to peel back a lot of layers, to invest in myself a lot, to not do a lot this year. Like when it comes to, I've always, you know, there's always stuff going on behind the scenes, but in comparison, like our platform has allowed me to really not like to go to places that I really desired to go to shift and change, to have like to go through a big healing experience. And that supported me. 70% of my income this year has been supported by our platform. So when we go to that, it's like what I built the year before allowed me to be able to do that. And so this year's been a huge awakening on a different level. A lot of ego has been stripped back. A lot of, you know, when I came into our platform, first and foremost, it was really important to me that I had great leadership. I was looking to go past where I'd always been at. Like I didn't know how to go past where I was at. I didn't know how to make more money. I didn't know how to be a better version of myself. I'd got to where I'd got and I knew I wanted more. And so the leadership was the key part to me, not the money first. Money came second. And then obviously the money was what I wanted as well. And the leadership came first. So once that need was being met as well in that space, I was able to expand also. And I just came in as a powerhouse. So I was able to really create. So I think for me, what I've loved is that it's allowed me to invest in coaches this year. It's allowed me, like I have a healer that I work with now, and I'm working with Gabby Kowalski, and that's, you know, a 6-figure investment to work with her for 12 months.
Wow.
And so it's allowed me to do these things. It allows me to have a goddess day every week, take the day off. It allows me to not work normal hours. It allows me to take weekends off. It allows me to today I've just got my period and it's like, you know what? I have 3 calls this morning and that's it. I'm out. Like I'm offline, guys. Like I'm out. I don't know what it looks like. I might sleep. I might watch Netflix. I might go have some food. I don't know what I'll do yet. And I'm not really concerned about that. That this platform has allowed me to do all of that. And, you know, alongside that, I do, I have a separate side of my business where I coach women. Coach is not the term I like to use. It's just the easiest word to understand. So I support women from all around the world with just being the best version of themselves.
Yeah. So I'd love to ask about when you first started, you said that you had some fear and doubt and all that. Like, how did you get over that? Like, what helped you to get through that? Because it's hard to get started in something new that seems, you know, you see all these people you admire and then you said you were just feeling, well, who am I to do this?
Mm-hmm. I think I had the big moment for me would have been that line in the sand moment to go, so here's my choices. I can keep going how I am. I can keep being 40 grand in debt. I can keep being the age I'm at and not knowing what I want to do. I can keep struggling. I can keep making money, not making money. I can keep doing the same stuff. I can just stay capped at my own abilities, or I can expand into something else. And the desire for me to be more than what I was bigger than the desire for me to stay the same. And there was nothing else in my sphere at the time that I knew that could give me the results that our online platform could.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And I wanted big, sorry to cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I lost what I was going to say. There's nothing else there. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, but there was nothing else in my sphere at the time that I knew that could do that. So
So, and you talked about leadership. You know, what is leadership to you? Because you're also involved in leadership now, correct? So,
yes.
So what does that mean? What does that look like? And what do you value in the leadership in this platform?
A few months into this journey for me, I was going so fast. I was making a lot of money. I was well known in the community, and I had this moment where I just pulled back, and I had this fear come up that if I was to step bigger into, so if I was to move from 6 figures to 7 figures doing what we were doing, I had this belief come up that I would have to be really busy, and that I would have to change the way I was doing things, and that I'd have to be like other people. And when I had that epiphany, it gave me the opportunity to really define leadership to me. And so I chose that leadership was leading self first. I chose that leadership for me is working the times that I desire to work. This is first and foremost. Like, leadership goes across the board in all different ways, just talking self first.
Yeah.
I decided that leadership got to be fun, that leadership isn't about being all serious and having to be the one out in front. We can lead behind as leaders. We don't have to be out doing everything as well. So there was a lot of mindset shift for me in what leadership actually was. Leadership for me is also giving. It's about holding space for other people. It's about visions and missions and supporting each other with visions and missions. It's about going above and beyond and not selling your soul in the process, not burning out, not being run ragged. It's about honoring you and then honoring the people around you. Leadership also for me, Gabby Kowalski, my business coach, she talks so amazingly about this. She talks about having a kingdom, and the kingdom is you, your clients, your staff. And then she goes, but the kingdom's beyond that. So treating everybody external to your inner kingdom is leadership. Treating people with respect, with encouragement, with support, regardless of whether you get something from them or not. Leadership to me is not about getting something. Leadership is about building relationships. And then as people connect in our spaces where we may co-create or collaborate, or someone may be looking for what we've got, or we might be looking for what somebody else has got, then I feel like the relationships get to be built. So to me, leadership is not forcing ourselves on other people. It's about standing in the truth of who we are. It's about saying, hey, this is what I do. And it's about with whatever area you're in, supporting other people in their processes as well.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's huge. And that's so different than traditional, how we think of traditional leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to just
Yes.
follow because there's this hierarchy, and that's what it looks like. Yeah.
I believe we're all equal. It doesn't matter to me how much money you make. It doesn't matter to me where you've come from. I think everybody, leadership does start with us first, in my opinion. And when we get to lead ourselves, then we can create different things in our lives. And everybody has the capability to do that.
Yeah. And I love that idea of like being able to lead from behind too, because sometimes that's the best thing to happen, that you can usher someone else into their own leadership. And that's the best form of leadership in that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like being on this call now. So I did a lot of interviews like way back, and then I stopped doing them because I'd done so many, and it was like I was pulling my time in for me. So this I've come back out, I've started to do interviews again, and it's like, this is not about me, this interview. It's about giving back. And that's part of the leadership, right? I don't need to share my story. My audience has heard my story a gazillion times. It's like, you've asked for something. And for me, it felt like a fit to support you in your journey as well. And then it goes out to your audience, and then it ripples out to the rest of the planet. And it may not be that people are connected with the affiliate marketing platform, our affiliate marketing platform that we utilize. It may be that they get a nugget on something else, that they get permission, that they learn a little bit about leadership in a different way, that they gain something, that they see that they are amazing as well. So I think that's all part of leadership.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I actually would love to like steer us a little bit towards like your journey as a woman. Like, I read some on your website about, your teenage years and how hard they were, and just how you came into yourself as a woman. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah. That was and still is daily dedication.
Yeah.
It was a decision. So I've shared this many times. At around the age of 26, 27, I found myself on the side of the road, and I was just sobbing. And I knew that I couldn't continue living my life the way that I had been living it. It was almost like I was living unconsciously. And and I was wanting different things in my life, and I wasn't making that happen, and I didn't know how to make that happen. And I had a deep sadness within me. So I got myself a life coach. I spent 5 years with her and really just peeled back a lot of the layers on, family trauma and rejection and guilt and shame and so many different things that we all carry. And at that point in my life, I made the decision that every single day I would learn to love myself a little bit more. And so I've done that. That was 26. I'm 40 at the end of the year. And that to me is one of my biggest commitments to self, is to be honoring self, is to be having very clear defined boundaries of what's important to me, how I show up with other people. There's no, I don't know what I'll get from Allie. You know where you stand with me. Like, I'm very clear in my boundaries, very clear.
Yeah.
And like, that's important to me as well. That to me is self-love, self-worth. For me, it's, I love deep diving into who I am as a person. So I've done many courses along the way as well. NLP practitioner, master practitioner of NLP and timeline therapy. I have just finished my health coaching certification with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And, I'm a Reiki master, and I've studied at uni and done all different things. And for me, it's about just seeing, like, it's just different aspects of life, right? And adventures, and learning more about the self, and saying yes to the things that light us up, and not letting money be a reason why we do not do things. My partner said that to me when I first met him. Never let the lack of money stop you from doing what you truly desire. And I feel like when we listen to our soul, and the soul is just a little nudge, it's that little voice in the back of the mind that keeps saying, no, that's not right for you, or yes, that's awesome, do that. When we start to follow that, and we start to really listen to that, we get to open up to more. And then the way we treat ourselves becomes a little bit different as well. What we'll tolerate becomes different. Our expectations become different. Our viewpoints of ourselves become different. To me, my being is my temple. I come first and foremost. Nobody else, not even my son, comes before me. He's my greatest love, yet I come before greatest love external to me. Yet I come first in that. Because if I don't come first, then I'm a shit mom. If I don't come first, then I'm not that great in business. If I don't come first, then I'm not that great of a partner. Then I'm not good for anybody else. I'm not a great leader. It's like, I'm not leading myself great if I'm not giving to self first. So my values are self first, then family, then business. So I'm not, business. If business comes first for me, I'm so out of balance, so out of balance. Yeah. I take, Goddess Day once a week. And that's, Goddess Day is really to honor women and myself as a woman. It's to say, you know what, there's a whole day just to celebrate me, and whatever the heck I want to do on that day, I get to do. Just for me.
You're so clear on your values. I love that. That's
so clear.
Yeah. So, and what makes me think of, just in my own journey and other women that I see, is that we can get so sucked into the obligations of life, right? Because we take on so much, caring for our families and the pets and bringing in an income. And like, how do we make a shift into like loving our goddess from all these obligations that we can't seem to break free from, right? Like, they consume our lives.
Yeah. I think it's this, I'm just trying to fix my phone up, sorry. I needed to sit on my butt, not up on I was on my knees, and I was starting to get sore. Yeah. Hang on a minute. Just give me a sec. Oh, it's been a pain. I'll just hold that. Yeah, I think like nothing to me is a quick fix. And I think there's commitment that is required for us. And so when it comes to obligations, when self is first, and as we learn to put ourselves first, so that took me a long time to be able to do that. It's taken me a long time to speak my needs and to ask for what I want and to live a life like that as well. So I think it's just a matter of, if what you're doing in a commitment is not making you happy, then you have a choice whether you're doing that or not. And I feel like so many people feel like they haven't got choices. It's like if you're bitching and moaning about your job and you're not happy about your boss and you're not happy about your colleagues, then what are you doing there? And that comes back to self-responsibility as well. And so I think obligations are only obligations if we see them that way. It's like being a mother, obligation for me is such an interesting word. It's like there's responsibilities for me as a mother.
Yeah.
And I've still lived my life. I haven't, you know, I see so many women give their souls away to their children, like give their souls away and sell their souls to just to be mums, and they're so unfulfilled.
Yeah.
I think being a mother is the greatest gift on the whole planet. Like that to me is, it's being a mother is, yeah, that to me, there's nothing like that. And I still continue to be me as a human. I don't, like I said, I come first. If I want to go away and do something, if there's a course I want to do, it's like there's things that I will do for my needs. And then if it's not in the best interest of my son, I won't do it. It's like, if he's okay and if everything's good there and it's what I want to do, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So I think there's different ways that obligation comes in, you know, there's all different ways, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, do you want to give some examples there for obligations? Do you mean like obligations of we have to pay the bills and we are partners? Like, let's go a little deeper on that.
Yeah. So, and you know, maybe obligation isn't the best word. Maybe it is responsibility, but you know, thinking of myself, like, you know, I drive my kids to school every day. I take them, you know, I have teenagers now. So I drive them to all their activities, or, you know, as many as I can. Their dad shares in that as well. You know, putting food on the table every day, making sure the house is all put together, and making sure that they have clothes to wear, and right. It just
got it.
like,
okay.
Yeah, and making sure they're, you know, they have their music, their homework gets done every day. Like, you know, especially like family, I think, as beautiful as it is. And I'm a parenting consultant, so, and I love family, and I've studied it for years. And it's just that it can consume us, and I can see a lot of parents, especially women, sort of get trapped in that. And don't know how to shift into serving themselves more.
Yeah, and it's step by step, day by day.
Yeah.
And it's the things that are not, if you're driving the kids around and you're doing things and you're doing everything at home and they're not self-responsible as well, and you're allowing that and you do not like that, then that's something that you've created yourself, right?
Yep.
And so from there, it's like, well, is it an obligation? Is it a responsibility? Or have you given more than you've needed to in that space? Are you, like in my house, my son doesn't have to do anything. Sometimes he'll have to put the bin out. And that's about it, really. And at his dad's, he has to do everything. And so I've gone the opposite way on that. And for me, our platform has been great because I have a house cleaner who comes twice a month. I have somebody who washes my car once a month. I have had 2 chefs that cook for me. And I realized I don't love cooking. So I choose not to cook. I'd prefer to buy food. The chefs, we threw out too much food, so it didn't really work for me. But I'd much prefer to buy pre-cooked food and have it here than actually make it. So for me, it's like I choose not to be stuck in the paradigm that as a mother, I have to do everything.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't like to clean the house all the time. I love a clean house, but I don't like to clean the house all the time. I don't like to jump in my car and be guilty because it's not cleaned. So things like that, it's like responsibility-wise for me, it was like, well, what doesn't feel good in my life? And what can I do to create something that does feel good? And I think any responsibility and any obligation, it's there because we created that.
Yep.
So what can we do to support ourselves to have that easier, or to have that more enjoyable, or to have it more expansive? And it's getting outside of what we see, seeing the bigger picture, and then being able to put some different things in place.
Yeah, I love it. So it's really noticing how you lead yourself, as you talked about before, because you know what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy, and you know, be really clear about that.
Yeah, and so many women walk around their houses and live life in such a way where they're pissed at everyone. They're pissed at their kids. They're pissed at their husband. They're pissed at their jobs. And it's like, well, hang on a second. You're choosing to have the relationships you're having with your children. You're choosing to be the wife that you're being, or the partner you're being, and you're choosing to work the job that you're working. Self-responsibility shifts and changes that. Self-love, self-worth, boundaries, all of that changes that, because you will not tolerate anything less than what you desire or what feels good, or you may need some flexibility in there when you're working with teenagers or you have teenagers. But you won't be doing things out of feeling like you're obligated.
Yeah.
It's more of a, hey, I had kids. What can I do to make this a joy?
Yeah.
I've got them in my life for this amount of time. One thing for me that's really become apparent, my son's 17, is that, and it's something I talked about years ago as well. It's like teething problems will stop. Sleepless nights will stop.
Yeah.
The Some people say the terrible twos. I think my son, he was just full on all through, like amazing, so much energy.
Wow.
It's beautiful. And it's like the tired will stop, and there'll come a point where you will want to be doing something with them, and they're like, hey, no, I'm out with my mates. Hey, no, I'm doing this.
Right.
No, it's okay. I don't want to do it. No, I'm not home for dinner tonight. And it's like, what? So for me, those things are like, have some joy in what you're doing if you're a parent, for the parents listening, or it might be in any area of your life. Have some joy with that. If you choose to have kids, it doesn't have to be a chore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, following your heart and investing in your heart and what makes your heart happy. And there's so much with being a mother that does make us happy. And if we can focus on that and then figure out what to do, like how we can get support for the other stuff, we can really fulfill ourselves a lot more.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love it. That's beautiful. Very beautiful. So I'd love you to talk more about self-love too. Just like, what does that mean? I mean, I think we can make an assumption what that means, but I have a feeling that there's like a deepness and a richness to this.
To me, I'm going to make it real simple. To me, it's the self-worth aspect.
Uh-huh.
Nearly every single woman I've had the pleasure of working with directly, one-to-one with.
We lost the sound somehow. I can't hear you. I don't know why. And I don't know whose side it's on either. I can unplug this. Does that make a difference? No. I don't know why that happened. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. Okay. My alarm went off and has interfered. So, oh my gosh. Well, I think we've been going for a while, so maybe it's just good to end here.
Hang on.
I think we need to plug.
Okay. I think we need to plug. Oh, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Yeah, my alarm went off. I have another appointment, but it does that. It cuts out for some reason. Okay.
Okay. So then we'll just wrap up after this, if that's okay.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. So, did you ask me something else there as well?
No, I didn't. I just wanted to get a little bit more into the self-love piece, and why that matters in business too. Like,
yeah, sure. I feel like everything that I've shared is all about self-love. So, the boundaries, the not feeling obligated, the doing things that feel good, the honoring of the self. Having a cleaner if you need a cleaner, like doing different things, putting your needs first, to me, is total self-love.
yeah.
Honoring what you want in life, total self-love. Saying no to things, total self-love. Saying yes to things when you really desire it, total self-love. Not using money as an excuse for not doing things in your life.
Yeah.
And making it happen regardless, self-love. Practices, we can do all sorts of practices. For me, it comes from the inside. You say I glow, and people say that as well. It's because I show up to my life from a place of truth. To me, that's self-love. There's nowhere that I'm not willing to go as a human within my own being. There's nothing I'm not willing to look at. There's no shadow. There's no part of my personality, there's no part of my emotions that I'm not willing to own or to go to the depths of. And I live my life from a place of truth. And to me, that's self-love.
Yeah.
That's like knowing what my body needs and honoring that. And not beating up on my body if I have something that may not be as good for my body as I know. Like if I wanted to go and eat a pizza, and I, like, that part of me says you shouldn't be eating a pizza, like a whole pizza, really, it's not good for you. Like if I had any of that chatter come up, it would be like, well, just eat the goddamn pizza and enjoy it. To me, that's self-love. So the self-responsibility, for me, it's, I don't sit there and beat myself up if I choose to do that.
Yeah.
And that to me is self-love. It's honoring the body as a temple in all ways. What you think, how you feel, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. Living your truest self in every way of the word, from
Yeah.
relationship to business, to parenting, to self, to relationships with friends, family. It's not being somebody's punching bag or conforming to what society says you should do when it doesn't feel good. It's all those things that it's honoring what lights you up and doing that. It's treating yourself the way you would treat a newborn baby, always.
Oh, I love that analogy. Yeah, and I feel like when I hear you talk about that, it's like I feel like we owe that to ourselves. Like what
Yes.
that's what we're on the planet to do, really, right? Um,
Yes.
so that's just beautiful. Yeah. I'm gonna think of it that way. I'm gonna remember that piece that like we're a newborn baby. Because I
Yeah.
love babies.
Yeah, or if you
Yeah.
don't love babies, then maybe an animal, like a baby
Right.
animal or something. Like
Right.
how would you treat someone that you love? And
Yeah.
we get to do that for ourselves. We can't I don't think we can expect to have beautiful relationships or make a lot of money or be satisfied in the process. Actually, people can make a lot of money and not have self-love. And I also feel like they can feel pretty empty. A lot of people
Yeah.
can feel pretty empty in that space as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's all encompassing in
Yeah.
every area of life.
Fantastic. So I think that's a great thing to leave people with, to invite them into that, into more self-love. Yeah, in every area of their life. So I just want to
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today and just being here and being you and sharing yourself with everyone.
Thank you, Kristen. I could see a couple of things come up, but I couldn't see much. So, to those of you that were on with us, thank you so much and have the most beautiful day. Thank you, Kristen. You're an incredible woman. I really appreciate you inviting me to your space.
Thank you. And if for people who are watching the replay, please let me know you're watching the replay. Give me some feedback on what your takeaways are. Would love to know that. Yeah. So thank you, and I'm sure we'll meet again sometime. All
Yes, and
right.
you're welcome. Thank you. I saw Cherie as well. Thank you, Cherie. Thanks for joining us. Lots of love to everyone.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, lovely.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.